FilterFreeRadio.com.
The worst is yet to come, babe, won't it be bad? We've killed the fish, the plants, and now I'm getting mad. Wait till the cleanup never ends. Wait till the beach is gone. Wait till you see them all in court, laughing like Satan's spawn.
Welcome back to the Nicole Sandler Show. Jacob Dean filling in for Nicole here on RadioOrNot.com, TalkRadio1.com, SoFloRadio.com, ProgressiveBlendRadio.com, We Act Radio, 1480 AM in Washington, D.C., on YouTube, podcasters, and everywhere else in between. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to get right to him. On the line is an author of the book Earth, EAARTH, the founder of 350.org, and one of my personal heroes, really truly doing God's work, the environmental activist, Bill McKibben. Bill, it is such a pleasure and an honor to speak with you.
Well, Jacob, the pleasure is mine. Thank you very much for having me on.
I just read, I got in the mail, I subscribed to Rolling Stone, and I just read one of the most shocking articles I've ever read on climate change, written by you. I've got the picture up for those of us who are watching the video stream of the cover of the new Rolling Stone that's going to come out next month. And Bill, I just want to throw it to you. There's three really important numbers that people need to know about, and looks like we have a nailed down a target here. For lack of a better term, and I know you talk about in the article, you don't really want to use the term enemy, but I'd love for you to talk about these three really important numbers and who we need to be kind of targeting here.
Well, thank you for those words. And the piece is actually up now online, so people can go see it at Rolling Stone or at 350.org. Look, I wrote the first book about climate change 25 years ago now, I guess. And at the time, it was an abstract proposition. Now, clearly, it's not. We're seeing the first wave of what climate change looks like with these heat waves and droughts and sea level rise and so on. But the numbers in this piece are scary. There are three of them. One is 2 degrees. That's what the world has agreed, even the most conservative countries and leaders, is the most that we can let temperatures rise. The second number is 565 gigatons of carbon. That's about how much scientists think we can emit over the next 35 years or so and have any chance of staying below that 2-degree level. It's like knowing what the legal drinking limit is and how many beers you can drink in a night and stay below it. So maybe 4 or 5, Right. The third number, the really scary one and the sort of new one, is 2,795 gigatons, or about 5 times that 565 figure. That's how much carbon the fossil fuel industry has in its reserves of coal and oil and gas that they are planning to burn. This is oil that's still below ground, but economically it's above ground. They're borrowing money against it. It's what their share price is based on. They're planning to burn it. What this means is that we now understand for the first time that the business plans of the fossil fuel industry, if carried out, are completely incompatible with anyone's vision of a healthy planet. There's no way, short of stopping those business plans, putting a stiff price on carbon that'll keep most of that coal and oil and gas underground, to have any hope of dealing with climate change. So it's a kind of grim article, but it at least tells us where we need to go, that we have, met the enemy and they is shell,
Yes.
That we're going to need a kind of movement that looks like the divestment movement around apartheid a generation ago, say, if we're going to get anywhere.
And, I mean, you mentioned you wrote one of the first books on climate change. I mean, we've only known for about 25 years that carbon is a problem. And as you say, we've got three significant numbers here. We can't warm the planet by any more than 2 degrees Celsius. There's and scientists and everyone have compiled and said that we have, our limit is 565 gigatons of carbon that we, can put into the atmosphere before we hit that threshold of changing the planet by 2 degrees. And the fossil fuel industries have in their reserves 2,795 gigatons of
That's right.
carbon.
So the legal drinking limit's 0.8. You can drink 4 beers and stay below it. And the fossil fuel industry has popped the top on 3 six-packs and put them out on the table.
And I mean, I was a big advocate of President Obama, and he ran as we talked about before, Bill, when he won. He mentioned, with his presidency, we'll see the lowering of the sea level and the healing of the planet. And at the same time, he's turning around and looking for more carbon reserves for the fossil fuel industry here.
Yes, at the moment, I'm afraid the one thing that most of our political leaders here and elsewhere agree on is that we should be finding more fossil fuel. The trouble is, the one thing our physicists and chemists agree on is we should be finding a lot less fossil fuel, that we've got to keep this stuff in the ground.
And you kind of sum up the article, Bill, in the Rolling Stone. It's going to be coming, like you said, it's online now, rollingstone.com. And the magazine version comes out in August. And you write, Bill, to make a real difference, you'll need to change carbon pricing in Washington and then use victory to leverage similar shifts around the world. What happens in the U.S. is most important for how it will influence China and India. The greatest challenge humans have ever faced. We know how much we can burn, and we know who's planning to burn more. What is, without keeping you around too much longer, because you're a busy man, and I appreciate you coming by, Bill, how do we get our listeners and people engaged and involved to really make an effort to make a significant difference with the fossil fuel industry here?
If people would just go to 350.org, which is the headquarters for this sort of growing global citizens grassroots aroused campaign around this stuff, we'll be keeping people completely in touch. Naomi and Klein and I are going to do a big road show beginning in a few months that'll take this new mathematics to every corner of the country in an effort to really kind of spur the next wave of this movement. And we'll let you know when we're going to be in your city and how you can join in this fight.
Sounds great, Bill, and I'll leave our folks with this last quote from your article. If you put a price on carbon through a direct tax or other method, it would enlist markets in the fight against global warming. Once Exxon has to pay for the damage its carbon is doing to the atmosphere, the price of its products will rise, and consumers will get a strong signal to use less fossil fuel. Bill McKibben, I just want to say, bless you, brother, for all the phenomenal work you're doing. You're doing real work about real issues that really affect us, and I can't thank you enough.
Back at you, brother. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Bill, and have a good day. Keep up the great work out there, buddy. Bill McKibben, founder of 350.org. Check out the website, 350.org, and also, of course, the author of the book, Earth, spelled with 2 A's, EAARTH.